Hi everyone, and happy International Women's Day again. So we've got another special guest here with us, Nilay from Yenner from the Flutter team. Nilay, do you want to just quickly introduce yourself?
Hi everyone. My name is NIlay, and I work in the Flutter DevRel team as a program manager. I've with this team for 4 years now, almost 4 years.
It's been a while, right?
Yeah, it's been a
So
while.
let's maybe just talk about before we talk about Flutter. Let's maybe talk about how you like got into tech. I know you were part of the community right before you joined Google as a program manager. So maybe you can talk about how, back in Istanbul, how you got started in tech, and how you got into this role as well. A bit of history about that. That hopefully will inspire others to kind of follow the same path as well.
Yeah,
You want to
sure,
just
sounds good. So I actually graduated from computer engineering. So this is technically how I got into tech. And it wasn't like that. So to be honest, it was not like, oh, I have been programming since I was 10. It's not like that. So in Turkey, we have some university system. We get to an exam and then get some grade, and then they put us in the universities. And
Mhm.
computer science was so popular. So basically, I just choose that, and then I finished the school, and then I got a job in a company in Turkey as a developer. And then, like, I was, we were using Java and then building apps, and then there are usually people in the team. They were like, oh, like wait, we don't have a documentation here, or there is no tracker here, or like there is not these things here because these are not things that everyone likes. So naturally, I found myself like doing those kind of project management works. And then I was like,
Mhm.
I just talked to my manager, hey, maybe I should be a project manager because I'm doing this more. And then I ended up being a project manager. So I work within a lot of software projects.
Mhm.
And at the same time, I was doing volunteer work in the Google Developer Group. I was an organizer in GDG Istanbul, and then we were doing events, you know that DevFest and everything. And Istanbul is a big tech hub, right? There are a lot of developers, a lot of
Yeah.
companies, and people just eventually wanted to come to the events because they were growing. And then, so we became very popular. That's the summary.
Definitely a bigger group, for GDG. I actually spoke there as well. I think a few years ago. So yeah, it's you always have a lot of events ongoing, and your DevFest is always a big one. And I think your Women Tech Makers, events as well, were quite big. So yeah, so definitely.
Exactly. Yeah, so that volunteer work kind of like we spent a lot of time for that volunteer work because we were really having fun, like a lot
Yeah,
of fun and so much like networking, that like
yeah.
everything. And then my husband got a job in US, and we were like, okay, we are leaving everything in Turkey, in Istanbul. GDG is in there. My work, I left my job and we moved here. And I
Mm-hmm.
was looking for a job in the US, and that all that imposter syndrome. I am now in a foreign country. I can't even speak their language well. Like, how am I gonna find job? Who's gonna give me job? And then I started talking people about like, oh, I have community experience, I have project management experience. And then the Google team, the team who works with the GDTs, they were looking for a community manager, contractor community manager. And I was like, they wouldn't hire me, but like let me speak with them, and they hired me. So basically, I started as a community manager in the GDG team at Google, and then 2 years later, I got converted to full time employee, and I joined the Flutter team and the DevRel team.
Yeah. Okay. And your husband is also with Google, right?
Yeah, he is in the Android DevRel team.
You've been there for a while.
Yes.
That's great. Okay, so how has it been for you? I mean, the last 2 years, because yeah, were you like I'm just trying to remember what I've been seeing on your tweets or Facebook posts. Did you get a dog? Did you get a dog during the
Oh,
or was it before that? I can't even remember now.
it was just 10 days before the
Oh,
pandemic shut
okay.
down. So technically, we didn't know pandemic was gonna happen.
Yeah.
We got the dog. The dog came home, and then 10 days later, they said, "Oh, we're shutting down." everything. And then it's been shut down since then. So
Cookie, right? Cookie is the name of your,
Cookie,
yeah.
yeah,
That's
he's a golden doodle. Yeah,
yeah. They gave Muret in company during the lockdown, so that's great.
he's a
He,
big dog. Yes,
yeah, he's grown a lot. Yeah, because I've seen
right.
photos, when you first got him. So yeah, that's really great. Okay, so let's talk about Flutter now. A lot of people obviously are familiar with Flutter, but for those who are not, do you want to just quickly describe what Flutter is all about? And I know about Flutter Festival because I'm organizing the London one as well. So yeah, maybe you can talk about the product first, and then what's upcoming.
Okay, cool. Yes. So Flutter came out from Google 4 years ago, the first public version. So it was an internal project, and the first initial statement was that if you are building mobile application for Android and iOS, um, and if you still want to build native applications, Flutter offers you to build native applications from one single code base. So you don't have to write different separate code for iOS and Android, but
Yeah.
you still build one code and then have ship apps for iOS and Android. And of course, over time now it's not just mobile; it is for every platform. You can build applications, native applications for every platform, for mobile, for web, for desktop, Linux, macOS, Windows, and yeah. So now Flutter is a SDK to build applications for every platform.
Yeah, yeah. I remember, the early days of Flutter, and seen, like the growth in terms of features and functionality. So it's really great, and the community around it is also, quite big now, right? So what's upcoming? What
Yeah.
any new announcements that are going to be made in the next few months? If you can talk about it, or what else is coming up with
So
regards to Flutter?
So if we just like go through the Flutter 2022 plans for for this year, so it's a lot about improving the developer experience for Flutter this year. It means a lot of bug fixes and then some new features to make developers' life easier. Like for example, there are really cool features already in Flutter, like hot reload, right? People love it. And then we will like try to make developers life much more easier. So and then it will be performance improvements, it will be bug fixes, it will be bringing stable releases for Windows, macOS, Linux, and like every platform. Or for web is just very in the beginning. There will be a lot of performance improvements or how you can make more um, developer friendly to build web applications with Flutter. So that's the goal for Flutter this year. It's a lot of improvements and bug fixes. And then, of course, community is really active for Flutter. Like there are a lot of events going on already, and we have this recent campaign called Flutter Festival, and you're running one of them, Flutter Festival London. There are a lot of Flutter Festival local events happening until April. And then we will continue to think this kind of community events and community supports as along with the Flutter's improvement this year.
That's great. Yeah. Yeah, we're excited about, Flutter Festival London. For us, it's happening in March 26th and 27th. We're doing a 2-day thing. The first day is in person, and then the next day is going to be virtual.
That's great.
Um, Given we're celebrating, International Women's Day today, do you want to talk about Flutterista, which obviously is a Flutter initiative focused on women in tech? And
Exactly.
let us know how it started. Yeah.
Yes, so Flutteristas are a like Flutters women and non-binary developer community, and the community exists because we want to create a welcoming and safe environment for women and non-binary developers for Flutter. Of course, this doesn't mean that like rest of the community isn't safe for them. It's not that, but it's imagine this. This is more about how we can create a sense of belonging for women and non-binary developers in the community because there's a huge gap, right? And then how we can create that support system, how we can improve and grow the women and non-binary developers in the Flutter world. That's the reason we have the community. And then the community was started by Emily Fortuna, who used to be a Flutter developer advocate in the
Yeah.
Flutter team. She started the group, and then with a few other volunteers. I was there too, like since day zero. We were all talking about this the community decided for the name, let's say Flutterista, and then they are doing amazing things as well. So last year, it was either last year or the year before, I can't remember, but we did a speaker training for Flutteristas, and
Okay.
literally a professional speaker training came in a call, and we did 3 days of speaker training. And after that, Flutteristas has run a Flutterista conference, and that was amazing because a lot of, like, there was 15, 16 speakers were giving a talk for the first time after the training. So, and this is so incredible to see that, like, seeing women grow this way. Yeah, so that's the community.
That's great. Yeah, and I see that it's very active on Slack.
So I think, yeah, we covered a lot of, like, Flutter is keeps growing, it will grow, and then also it's important to remember that, like community played a huge role in the Flutter world, right? Like, what was community's role in Flutter's growth, and that is very important because Flutter is an open source project, and then the community played a huge role on the growth of Flutter, and so it is still important to remember that while we are growing, while people in the community are growing, but we are also still need to remember that we want to be humble because we want to create welcoming and safe environment for everyone. So it's really important to remember those core values in the community.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, the Flutter community, I think, is very like friendly and welcoming. And people are really into really passionate and enthusiastic about the product. I can see that, whether it's in London or other, parts of Europe or other parts of the world. I think, especially in India, I think there are a lot of Flutter developers, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So when we have this events ongoing, like this Flutter Festival, I think they always get a lot of people calling in or viewing, the conference or the event. So that's that's really good. Um, is there any plan? Because I remember the last time we saw each other was at Flutter Interact, which was in Brooklyn right before, like a few months before. I think it was December 2019, if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah.
or was it January 2020? I can't even remember now.
Somewhere
It was
there. Yeah.
a few months before the lockdowns, right? And that was in person, and it was, it was a great event. Is there any plan now that, things are kind of going back to normal, to have a an in-person event again, maybe later this year or early next?
So there is no plan, as far as I know. Right now, there is no plan for a big in-person event for Flutter right now, but we are mostly supporting the local developer events. So hopefully, we will come back to our past normal life someday. We are looking forward to that.
Yeah, yeah, I know. I think even Google I/O is. I don't know if anything's been announced, whether it's in person or not this year. So yeah, we're all obviously looking forward to that. For people like us who are, we're regularly attending some of these in-person events with Google. So yeah, we're all missing it. So we're looking forward to hear
I
about that.
know. We all miss that,
And
right?
so thank you, Nilay, for joining me today. And I'm glad to hear about the plans for Flutter, the community, and also glad to hear about and learn about how you got into tech. So yeah, thanks for joining us again today, and thank you to Flutter for supporting the event, and thank you to you as well for making sure that that happened.
Thank you so much. Thanks for organizing this. This is great. And yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank you.